What's up, dudes? YouTube, how's everybody doing out there? Wanted to get some things out before I had to break out to work, guys. So, as always, I had a busy day yesterday, but when I came home, I was able to watch a lot of the shows that I wanted to watch, and I thought I'd kick it off with this one because this is kind of the newest one out of all of them. But I'm here to give my thoughts on the first pilot episodes of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show. Yeah. Um. So let's put it like this, guys. I've been a huge Turtles fan since the '80s. Okay, from the TV serial to the comics to the forefront. All right. When I came into seeing this show, when I saw that Nickelodeon got the rights to the Turtles, and we were all thinking about, okay, what is it going to look like? How's it going to be? We saw the first trailer, and immediately everybody just flipped out and was like, "Oh, this is ugly. This is everything like that." Is right there. Watching this show, we noticed. When I watched the show, I noticed a couple of things that was already right at the forefront. Okay, the Turtles are what, about 15 in this series. They've never been up top before. Splinter has trained them, but he's trained them individually, not as a unit. They change a little bit of Splinter's origin, as well as, as they pretty much always do. But here's the things that overall, I'm let you know right now. Overall, I liked it. If I was to give it a grade, it would give you a passing grade because I didn't really see too much problem with the show. You know what I'm saying? And I know everybody was like, "Oh, this sucks," blah blah blah, because everybody's so comparing the 2003 series to this or to any other show. It's like you got to put that aside. You got to put that aside. You got to look at it like, look, that show was great. Put that aside. Now I'll give you some things that I did not like about the show. Okay, first and foremost, okay, we saw some things in there that, there was a lot of humor in this, but a lot of action. It was a good blend. One thing I will say about this show, there was a good blend of all the incarnations before it. I saw a lot of the '80s show. I saw tidbits for the movies, the comics. I've seen tidbits of a lot of the shows, and I'm like, all right, I see that. Splinter still comes off very wise and disciplined as always. He cracks a little bit of jokes here, pretty much how the movie version did, but overall he was still the lovable and well-respected Splinter. Okay, Jason Biggs as Leonardo was he came off very like, all right, I can understand it. Sean Austin as Raphael was fine to me. Rob Paulson, who played Raphael in the '80s, plays Donatello now. So that was a little bit of a kind of like, okay, I got to get used to that because it's Raphael's voice from the show I grew up watching coming out of Donatello's voice. So I got to get used to that. And then you got Michelangelo. I'm always forgetting the voice actor. He's voiced a lot of people like Beast Boy and people like that as Michelangelo. Fine. I did not hate the voiceover acting. And then you got Maya Whitman, who played Katara in the Last Airbender, playing a young April. Now that right there is what I have to get used to, is seeing April younger than, or younger, or as young as the Turtles, and not older or something like that. So what we see is that the Turtles finally get the chance to go to the surface, and they get to go, and they're up on the streets of Manhattan, just looking around and everything like that. They get seen a couple of times, and they people flip out on them and things like that, and that was fine. One of my I thought was funny was they finally got their first taste of pizza, which was fun. And me and my bro was watching. He was like, "Up, their first pizza. Here we go." You know, Michelangelo takes the first bite, and then in the sensation of like, "Whoa, this is good," and then he's like, "Yo, dude, you're not gonna like this. I'll eat the rest of it." And I kind of chuckled that. I thought that was funny. I'm like, okay, but they witness these individuals in black suits taking kidnapping people, so they jump into action, and kind of we see right there we see that they're they're not used to fighting together. There was the they're they're used to fighting individually, and we see them making mistakes. And right there, I was like, you know what? For this incarnation, I like that they're not so cohesive as a unit, because Splinter has only taught them how to train. He trained them individually, not cohesive. When you see them in the beginning practicing their katas and everything like that, training, Raphael's able to beat all of them, but they've trained individually, not as a cohesive unit. And I didn't mind that. I was like, okay. And then we find out later that these were just men in bionic suits for what we, once again, we get a little tidbit. So spoiler alert, guys, here right now, the Krangs, a combination of the Ooptrons, once again, playing, you see different tidbits of the different shows, the Krang as well as the Ootrons. And this is where I did not like it, and I noticed it was a couple other people that did not like this. I hated how the Krang spoke. This, that, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh God, turn it off, turn it off. But I got past that, and we saw them kidnapping a young April. We knew right off the bat it was April. She was wearing her traditional yellow and everything like that. So he was like, okay, that's April. And Donatello gets a huge crush on her right from the get-go, and he springs into action while Leonardo's like, "We're supposed to stay to the shadows." No, no. And they go into action. Now we see them stabbing people and things like that, and for a Y7 rating, you're like, I mean, it was kind of like intense, but we saw a lot of action and the action scenes were really pretty decent to me. It was kind of smooth, not generically stiff that I thought it was going to be because of the CGI effects. But it was pretty smooth. Like there's a scene, there's a move that Raphael loves to do, which is pretty much inducing with a person with size is able to you're able to counter and lock the integrations of the size, those two main parts that you see of a side, which is used for blocking and countering. He's able to use it and use that opponent's motion and flip the guy. And he's done it before, but he couldn't do it with this guy because these guys were robots. And I thought that was really fun. Um, I thought that was fun, and we saw the personalities of the turtles. They're there. It's there. It's not useful. It's not like they've changed them too much. You know, that's the way I came looking into the series. Was that yes, this is a series that is different, but it's actually pretty cool. It's not that bad, and I did not look at it trying to compare it to the 2003 series, because right there, if I did, I was going to hate the show. So I didn't look at it like that. I did not look at it like that. It's funny how people say, oh, turtles are, we want them all dark and gritty and things like that. But then, people start watching some of the stuff, and when you get a good blend of it, of dark, gritty, humor, everything like that, nobody has a problem with it. You know, the turtles are too violent. They got I'm like, you know what? They're ninja, okay? In history has taught us ninja are violent. They had a very violent life. So you can't look at it like that. Stop looking at it. And that's something that I've always, if you have not watched it, don't look at the show like that. Stop looking at it from the 2003 series, because already I've seen plenty of reviews and people have bashed it because it doesn't live up to the 2003 series, stop looking at it like that. Okay, there was even a new mutant in this that was kind of cool. You know, what was his name? Snakeweed. I thought was kind of cool. And the turtles fought him, and it looks like he's gonna play a more factor into the series as well. We also got a little bit more in depth of Amato Yoshi and Horokusaki, who we know as a Shredder, and we saw they once again blending the comics and the movies and everything, that their fight when he was still in Japan was over the love of a woman, Tang Shin, and we saw what happened to her. And I was like, yeah, there we go. They're blending more of it. And we saw once the turtles were able to save April. Yeah, I'm gonna spoil this, guys. They save April, but they don't get her dad. They save April, but not her dad. And April's now on a quest to get her father back. Because we really don't know what the Krangs want with the big brains and things like that. But we realized that the turtles kind of made some mistakes because they left evidence around that now people may be knowing that there are ninjas in New York. It was all over. And Michael was like, dude, we're famous now. We're going to be this. And you know, Splinter was like, you need to you don't make mistakes like that again because we don't know. And then once again, we hop skip across the Pacific Ocean and end up in Tokyo, Japan. And who's looking at this? None other than Orokusaki himself, Shredder, and he's all decked out in black. You know, you see a black silhouette. You really don't see his face, and all of a sudden, Kevin Michael Richardson's voice comes out of it, and you know, I even like, whoa, okay, that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted maybe a darker, you know, grittier, you know, Shredder voice coming out. And then you saw him put the famous mask on and saying, we're going to, you know, New York. And right there and then it's on. So overall, it was fine to me. If out of 5, I give it a 3 out of 5. Not bad. Passing grade, basically, in my opinion. I will continue to watch it. Now, I won't do like uh, recap slash reviews. I just wanted to get my take on the first pilot. I thought it was fun. Um, I'll probably do like I do with a lot of shows like Ben 10 and things like that. I'll do thoughts on the first series, the first episode, and then I'll do like on the season finale or so like that. But other than that, you know, I I enjoyed it for what it was. Now there'll probably be people who will probably say, then you're not a real turtle fan. Then if you enjoyed it, you know what? You know, for all those people out there that say that, you know, that's your problem. You know what I'm saying? That's your problem because I am, and I didn't look at it any differently than I looked at the '80s show, that I looked at the movies, that I looked at the shows afterwards from New Mutation, which I did not like, and I will come out and say that right now, to the second movie, to the third movie, which people won't acknowledge, to the CGI 2007 movie, to the 2003 series when Mirage got the rights back and went on from there. Because I could tell you right now, after Mirage got the 2003 Turtles, and then when they started going to fast forward and everything like that, I was hating the show. So right there, you could say right there, it did have its flaws. So now we come up to now with this show, Nickelodeon has it, and I'm okay with it. Not bad at all. So for all those people out there that have a problem with me saying get past that 2003 series and stop looking at it, hey, that's your problem. That's your problem, not mine. But for me, Nickelodeon's version of the Turtles, the Fab Foursome, was not bad at all. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table and seeing how much that I'm gonna ride this through. That's my thoughts on it, people. And if you don't like it, that's your problem, as always. But if you did, you tell me what you thought about it, and I'll see you guys later.